Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned. Albino ranks every fruit in Animal Crossing New Horizons from worst to best. Yes, this is what it's come to, thank you for noticing. There are 6 fruits in this game and I'm going to rank them based on a bunch of random garbage and hit you with some astounding facts in the process, starting from worst and working our way to best. Number 1, coconuts. The worst fruit in Animal Crossing are coconut. Did you know that coconuts are not actually nuts at all, but botanically classified as drupes, which are indehiscent fruits in which an outer fleshy part surrounds a single shell of hardened endocarp with a seed or kernel inside? What that essentially means is that coconuts are a bunch of fucking bullshit. The name is wrong right out of the gate. As soon as you see one of these things, you're already being lied to. The coconut is a fruit of deception. It is satanic trickery. It is also a coward. It hides within a defensive shell, prolonging your attempts to crack it open and get at the not even goodness inside, because coconuts also have the distinct characteristic of being disgusting. Who eats them? What do you know coconuts for? Not the taste, but the smell. Stuff smells like coconut. People were like, well, this is awful to put in our mouths, but I bet we can shove it up people's noses, and they made a killing in the perfume and hand sanitizer and scented candle business because everyone wants to smell like a fruit they wouldn't eat, and probably wouldn't even know how to eat. If someone picked it from a tree and planted it on their table, they'd break their teeth on that nonsense. Coconuts are openly hostile to mankind, and in Animal Crossing, they're worth nearly half the price of every other fruit, which is all I really needed to say, but at least we got there eventually. Number 2, pears. The etymology of the word pear is said to be probably derived from the Germanic pera as a loanword of pera, which is a dialect of Latin known as Vulgar Latin, which I assume has plenty of words to get me demonetized. Pera directly translates to fruit, which means pears are named after fruit, and pears are fruit, so this is very culturally creative on our part. Pears are also an insult. If you tell a woman she is pear-shaped and she has pears on hand, she will probably throw them at you and then quickly waddle out of the room in tears. Pears don't need to be a thing. It's just a weird, unnecessary fruit. We've already got apples, oranges, bananas, potatoes, carrots, rice, hamburgers. We don't need any more fruit. Pears exist on the fringe of society, and they're also not pleasant to look at, so they're the second worst fruit in Animal Crossing. Number 3, oranges. The orange is a citrus fruit native to China. I don't think I need to tell you what else is native to China. Drones are flying around telling everyone to stand 6 feet apart like chaperones at a middle school dance. Meanwhile, the orange thinks it can just get off scot-free with no repercussions when it knew. It was there the whole time. It watched it all go down, and like a senator in the stock market, it chose not to warn us. It amassed its turnip fortune, then turned around and offloaded it to every sucker it could find before the market crashed. Oranges are bad, man. Like coconuts, oranges have an outer layer that must be removed before you can actually eat them, and nobody likes that. Apples you can pick and eat. Cherries you can pick and eat. Oranges you can pick and peel, or try to peel, but end up getting fragments at a time and leaving a mess behind, like trying to rip the barcode sticker off the new child you just adopted, and he's all like, ow, that hurts, and you're like, hold still, Dylan. Alright, got it. Now sit in this basket on the kitchen counter and go rotten before anyone remembers to eat you. Oranges are the most cultivated fruit tree in the world, and that's dumb. Because why would you drink orange juice when you could have a nice cranberry and grape blend? How come there's no grapes in this game, or bananas even? Oranges are gross, and they leave the most amount of trash when you're done with them. They pollute the environment. Suddenly the world is dying, and it's all because orange peels aren't biodegradable. They literally take 6 months to decompose. That's another astounding fact. You're welcome. If there's one thing to take away about oranges, it's that they aren't green. Number 4, cherries. Cherries are the smallest fruit in Animal Crossing, and since they share a price tag with every other fruit sans coconuts, that makes them the most valuable on a per ounce basis. However, cherries as a fruit are not good. Their flavor is instead extracted and implemented into other types of food and drink, like cherry Coke, which is gross, or cherry-flavored Pepto-Bismol, which is Pepto-Bismol. In fact, cherry is one of the go-to flavors for unpleasant medicine you have to take when your body starts sucking, which makes cherry permanently associated with sickness and death. I interviewed one of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse once for a book report in 3rd grade. His name was Pestilence, and he said cherry was his favorite flavor. I asked about his compatriots. He said that war prefers sour apple, death is a fan of black cherry, and famine doesn't eat much. Black cherry, that's different. It's like cherry, but more R&B. You don't hear a lot about black cherry, but you imagine it's got a culture all its own. It probably listens to a lot of jazz albums. Cherries are my island's natural fruit, so I got a bronze medal on this one. Number 5, apples. The bane of doctors everywhere, apples are single-handedly responsible for delaying every major cure we could possibly be working on. How can doctors focus on the cure for cancer, or MS, or retardation when they're too busy dodging apples on a daily basis? Like pears, apples are also derived from a Germanic word that literally means fruit. In fact, as late as the 17th century, the phrase apple of paradise literally meant banana, so I guess we can all go fuck ourselves. Apples have the distinct advantage of being the only fruit on this list I will actually eat in real life, but also the distinct disadvantage of being the only fruit on this list known to have worms randomly living inside them. Wikipedia says the apple is thought to have been domesticated between 4 and 10,000 years ago. I wonder how they potty trained it. I know I have real trouble domesticating my apples sometimes. They really don't get along with other fruits. They growl and hiss. Sometimes they full on attack my cherries, and cherries are small, so they can do some real damage to them. I have to keep a constant eye out. I have very unruly apples. I don't think they understand the concept of a litter box. Apples have some of the most common idioms in the English language. Someone can be the apple of your eye, which basically just means you stare at them so much their image is reflected in your own eyeballs, and that's pretty creepy. If someone is a bad apple, it means they are rotten to their core and probably have parasites in their intestines. And apparently there's nothing more American than a steaming hot apple pie. Nasty. I prefer cake, not apple cake. I don't know if that's even a thing, but it sounds conceptually incorrect. Apples are culturally significant and tasty, which makes them the second best fruit in Animal Crossing, right behind number 6, peaches. Now, I've had canned peaches like maybe 5 times in my life, and they're pretty okay, not blowing me away, an alright fruit option for consumption. But the reason peaches are the best fruit in Animal Crossing is because they are the most visually appealing edible on the island. Peaches just look good. They look like my ass, and my ass looks good. Peaches are like the perfect buttocks. Nice, partially symmetrical crack down the middle, fuzzy texture for a comfortable grip, but peaches have something that buns do not, which is a fantastic inability to shit themselves. Peaches are clean, no toilet paper necessary. Like a college student sleeping with all her professors, peaches win the day on both looks and functionality. Peaches are also a compliment, unlike pears. If someone calls you a peach, it means you're being nice, or more specifically, compliant. Hey, can you make me some pizza rolls and do all my taxes? Thanks, you're a peach. Peaches are the spirit fruit of servants and slaves everywhere. Peaches are the same species as nectarines, but I've never heard anyone be like, oh man, yeah, I love nectarines, they're my favorite. So peaches are superior, both to nectarines and to every other fruit on this list for all the bullshit reasons previously stated. And that's gonna do it for this ranking. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Sunburned Albino. Check the rest of my channel out because the backlog is glorious. And I'll see you guys next time.